That's where it begins. Because if you don't respect your parents, you're not going to respect your godparents, or you're not going to respect your Orisha. Because you're going to be the same person. You're not going to change. You are who you are. So, prayer. Try to be a good person. If this is your destiny, you will be led to it. And even after you're led to it, even after you find it, and even after you're blown away, because Santeria is very intoxicating. It is intoxicating in a very good way. Does it mean that you have to get initiated?
Right.
Sometimes you need to come for divination to do your ability, get your life together so that your children can do what they need to do. It doesn't need to be, oh, I have to get initiated now. And so anybody who's pushing initiation, I think we need to put the brakes on with that, because it becomes, and we know that some people got rent to pay, and vacations they want to take, and cosmetic surgeries they want to have performed. Nice, but that don't need to be at the expense of somebody who has a restlessness, because people who are seeking are not feeling fulfilled where they are. So there's a restlessness. There's an urge to find something. Well, you can truly be a guide, because maybe what that person needs to do is go to church. Maybe that's their path. And if you're being earnest and honest as a diviner, you kind of need to be able to, I don't know where I went there, but you kind of need to be able to say that, But
I say,
again, and one of the other problems that we have to be, I think, as leaders, initiates, priests, all of y'all who are doing that, that we have to be prepared to address or to give some pushback to popular culture, because they're popular culture. All right, no hate, but like this whole Beyonce Oshun thing, to me, is absolutely crazy, because Oshun, that deity, is another one who was so much more than how she's genuinely considered.
I say,
She is so much more. That whole seductress thing is just like out of hand. Oshun is wisdom, and I mean capital W. And I can't get into start talking about her, but we kind of need to be able to redress that. So because people are coming from the outside, and the only thing they know is what they're being exposed to in popular culture. So we have an option. We have the option to buy into that. Oh yeah, baby girl. Yeah, I see Oshun. Yeah, come up. Or because even as an adult, and I imagine parents, that you don't indulge your children all the time and hope that they will one day magically become responsible adults. At some point you say yay, and other points you say nay. And I think, unfortunately, because most of the press that, I should say, the popular, is that Orisha is so popular, but becomes so popular now in popular culture, that we have to be willing to take a stance, and to be 12th chapter of Romans, steadfast and unmovable, because otherwise, all these discussions that also occur in how things have changed, and how there are many myths, and how people don't do this anymore, and how people don't do that anymore. Well, we're going to be as much a part of the problem, that will be waiting for the next generation of Orisha worshipers down the line. It's in our hands. We are It's in our hands.
Yeah. Ashe.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And since the young lady, the young little princess, I do have godparents and I have elected.
Yes.
So this is what I have to say in offering to you with your question, because it was a very vague question because you gave no background information to why you asked the question. But it's okay. You got other good information as well, and you can apply it to
Okay.
the same situation. You got to do inner work. And because you do have a godparent and you already went through that first stage of receiving the leggings, now is this time to even really buckle down on about who you are, because now you've joined something, you committed something, you've made this oath. And I don't think that many people that oath standing, and for many different reasons. That's why you need to always check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Even if you have a godparent and they're wholeheartedly decent. Wait a minute, let me take it. 1 second, everyone.
Mm-hmm. The other Barbara, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Okay.
wanted to take him to his mom because he needed to go to his mom. He's one. He needed to go to his mom. He was getting a little bit too demanding.
He's very demanding. This is what we do.
Yeah. Now you've taken an oath
He's very, very demanding. But no, I do.
to a certain extent, and oaths are not looked upon as they were in days of old, but they still mean the same, and you can still have the same. What do you call the same ending if you break one?
All right.
And that is hurt, pain, and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't always feel good, but also it can be freedom. This is why if you have a godparent and you're going different places and you're listening to other people and you're reading that book and you're over here and you're over here and you're over there. Okay, fine. It's 2023. You're learning, you gather this, you go back, you talk to your godparent. But what is really going on within you? And this is the faith, this is the word I have for you with your godparents and electors. It's learning how to not be don't be deceitful to yourself, don't be deceiving to yourself, be transparent. Um, even if don't be a punk. You can have the sweetest godmother in the world and the sweetest godfather in the world. And it's something that you need to say, and you won't say it because you're being a punk. That's being deceiving. But you're looking at Lottie Da, who's, you know, they I would say flamboyant, and they doing this and then that, and they shaking it up like, oh, dad, my godparent is all quiet, and they don't even be like going nowhere. I'm just giving a scenario.
Mm-hmm.
It's say that what I think it's in Iwari, or it may be in Iwari. And I'm saying this, and I'm trying to remember what the Odu was, but this was in Ifa. The grass is not always greener on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you take your time. Can you unpack that? That's a difficult one. It's a thing where um let me shoot back to what I was saying, that aspect of being transparent, that aspect of not allowing yourself to be engulfed in who someone else is. That's why you always got to keep working to find your inner voice, not your inner voice to necessarily rebel and disrespect your godparent, or not your inner voice to, what do you call, sound off on anybody like, hey, but it's talking about you growing and being capable. You could still have a godparent and still make your own choices, especially if you're a grown person. But there's just a way to go about it. Am I being honest? Am I speaking something wrong? It's 2023. I've only been around for 20, going on 24 years. Suzanne just turned 24. I'll be 24 in November. Prior to that, I had my leges, not with the person who crowned. I had my leges before I met the person who actually crowned my Ocha. And I didn't even really know her for 35 minutes. Deep, ain't it? The person that gave me a leges, I loved him to death. Loved him to death. Because my Fetty Funoya, she always was there. I didn't know she was there. And I was trying to understand myself, and I was trying to, like, get it together. I knew I loved Orisa in X, Y, and Z. And I was still trying to find me. But there was something going on there that I didn't know that's what it was going to happen. I didn't know. And something pulled us apart. Okay? Something pulled us apart. And as that saying goes, what is meant to be is going to be. We don't know how long the the track, how long that track, how long that road is going to be, how long that relationship is going to be. But having a godparent is that you can talk to, that can listen to you, but you also have to listen to them, and you also have to listen to Orisa. I don't want nothing to overstep somebody else's godchild, but as a human being in this world, you have a right to have an inner voice. You have a right to speak as an adult respectfully. And if someone, and I would say this, and me and a couple of other people were talking about this last week. There's a lot of hurt people out here that were once involved in our tradition, Lukumi. A lot of hurt people. Lots of hurt people. And they've gone off and they've started their little cults. Because they're like, those people crazy over there, they hurt me. Don't you become one of those people that didn't do the inner work, that walk into this tradition bitter and stay bitter, but they hide it behind Orisa. Don't you become that. And that's all I got to say on that. I hope that I unpack that. Yeah, Ioka, you down there. You come on up here and hit that button. It'll be balance and balance. 2 oyas and 2 batalas. See how she doing us?
Come on, Nispo. Dr. Ayoka, come on.
Do that. So yeah, you guys wanna I know she's laughing. I can put the link back in the chat. Oh, you know what? You need your bottle. Go to bed. It's time to go to bed. Go to bed. That's it. It's over with. It's done. So, as Ia would say, as we always say, I don't know what else to say. That's it.
It's good. And well, let me just say this also, that sometimes the other question that I usually throw out there is, what do you expect from me as a godparent?
There you go.
What do you expect from me? And I will also tell you what I expect from you.
Mm-hmm.
And then also to know, as leaders, teachers, and sometimes, that saying, people come into your lives for different reasons.
Yes.
Okay. And sometimes this person is coming to you for you to guide them. Orisha, Egun, God, the universe brings them to you to guide them to that next door. But that next door might not be the door that you need to take them through. It might be someone else.
Ashe.
So we, as godparents, leaders, we have to keep that in mind as well.
Ashe.
But that respect and that transparency, that honesty has to be there from the beginning.
Ashe.
And that honesty has to start with you yourself. You have to be honest to yourself and be truthful to yourself first. Else you can't do it for anybody else. This is what you want to follow this, you have to be honest. Know yourself. That's all.
Ashe. I think you raised some very relevant points there. But the only other thing that I wanted that I would add to that is, so if I'm coming to you to be my godmother, right? I'm at a disadvantage. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because you know how to be a godmother. But again, I'm coming, right? I'm brand new. I see this on TV, and maybe it was a Beyonce video, and I want Ocha. So my disadvantage is I have a trumped up idea about even what this relationship is going to be about. How do we address that? How do we remove the rose-colored glasses and give people an objective sense of even what this is? Because it's not going to be like anything they've had any experience with before. Like having a godparent is not like dating. We're not gonna chop it up at the club and then
right.
No. And to speak to something that Yvette said, that yes, I wholeheartedly agree that the relationship between godparent and godchild is a sacred one.
Mhm.
a sacred relationship. It's not just an arbitrary throw of the dice, because if the godparent is moving in a way that is in alignment with our tradition, that godparent or that godchild has come and brought the derecho and given obi, and that godparent's orisha has said yes to whatever. Can I put elekis on this person? Whatever, whatever, whatever. So that makes the relationship, that just kicks it up completely, to a whole new level. But again, so I'm like, my hypothetical scenario that I'm coming to you, yeah, Jackie, to be my godmother, but I really don't know what a godmother is.
Mhm.
How do we deal with that?
Well, it starts continuous with the conversation
Yeah.
and the coming around to see what this is all about. You're going to come, yes, oh, there's a ceremony here. We need pluckers. You're going to come and you're going to learn how to do this. You're going to be around. You're going to participate in the things that at your level that you can do.
Beautiful.
And at the same time, like I said earlier, observing other elders, feeling their vibes out.
Yeah.
Because yes, you might have came to me, but I haven't put elekes or anything on you. So you still searching as far as I'm concerned.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I'm guiding you to the point now. The final decision is on you. If after a while you still feel okay, well, I want you to be my godparent, then I will go to Obatala and see what he has to say.
I sure.
Okay. But you are going to participate in these things to see if this is something that you really want to partake in.
Right. Okay. That's a great answer. That's a great answer. Because I think the other piece is that you can, for the not initiate, for the person on the outside who's considering, dipping their toe in the water. I mean, you can read a book and be totally engaged in the book. You can see a movie. By the way, there's this great audio book. Oh my gosh, I don't even know the last name. Author's last name is Bandele. Great audio book. I'm telling you, it's like he tells us a Orisha story. But anyway, there's so many ways basically that Orisha can catch your attention, or you can discover Orisha. But it's not, as you said, it's not a solitary thing. It's not a single thing. You are choosing a godparent, maybe, but you're also choosing a community, and it's really knowing how to function in that group setting and being willing to adapt. That was it. I just wanted to co-sign on what you were saying.
Thank you. Come on, Ayoka. Come on.
My goodness. Hey, Ayoka.
Hi. Greetings,
You don't remember me, but you don't remember me. But I knew you when you were like this big.
Okay. Well, greetings again. I'm not going to stay long, but this is a wonderful conversation. Thank you, Iya, Babas. I only mentioned that comment about unpacking it just for context, because there's a lot of people who feel very intimidated. I think that there's certain expectations, sometimes personas that godparents have. And so sometimes people may feel very apprehensive about speaking up, or if they have a disagreement or there's something that they don't understand, they may be very shy from speaking up or saying what they need to say. And also there's also another layer of relationship. I was born and raised in this tradition, as many of you know, and my godparents, they knew me before I was even born. So there's another layer of like, you just don't go against what they say. You try to be respectful. But they're also human beings, and as you grow into an adult, as I have and my contemporaries, there's also a perspective where they elders always see you from which the age they remember you. So, for instance, I'm almost 50. I have 5 kids. I have a career, blah blah blah. But people still see me as like 15 years old. And I have a 15-year-old myself, so it's and not to be like they're not disrespectful, but then there's a moment where I think you sort of come to terms with the godparent godchild relationship, where you acknowledge that you're both human, you acknowledge that you both have needs, desires, and wants, and that they're there to be your godparent is there to be your coach and not necessarily your parent, right? And so then that relationship can grow and evolve. And there are some godparents who still see like adults as like they treat yawos like they're little children. They're not yawos and like they just got born yesterday. The rebirth is spiritual rebirth, not actually physical. So you have to kind of navigate and manage those relationships carefully. So
That's right.
I shall. Thank you for coming up here with us. Now we're all balanced out. Look at
and also just on yeah, I just wanted to say love. I mean, I love all the Orishas, of course. I love all yeah. I actually have the opportunity. I had the opportunity to give Oya several times because people have asked me like if there's a Yamaya Ocha given Oya, and I generally, or when it was Ajabon someone, I gave them Oya, and so I've always enjoyed um, that experience because whenever, for even from my perspective, whenever I give a Risha or I am in a ritual that is particular to that ritual, the Orisha manifests itself in my life very profoundly. And so there's particular lessons that are for me. So even though you may be initiating someone or you may be giving the Orisha, it's not just the person that's in the recipient of that who's receiving information, knowledge, lessons. It's also the
Mm-hmm.
person giving it who's receiving
Okay.
information,
That's
knowledge,
right.
and lessons. There's not
Mm-hmm.
ultra ritual anything that I've received or participated in where I was a key participant, where the Orisha did not like show me something very, very specific for me to know, see, and understand about myself, about
That's
myself,
right.
for my growth. And so I take those things very seriously because the Orisha manifests for me in my iteration of life. That's how they manifest for me. In one they come in dreams and other things, but they show up very strongly. And I get the lesson very loudly in that way. And Oya has shown me that there's one thing that she shows me all the time, and I'm so incredibly grateful. And I wear her bracelets every day, is that I can recreate myself no matter what challenge, what problem, and I've had plenty. I can recreate myself and I can regenerate, reimagine, resurface, and all those things, um, no matter what. No matter what. And that for that I'm grateful because I know even in the midst of the challenge, that in the other side of that is we use this word transformation, change, da 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 da, but there's something about like it's like a metamorphosis. There's a difference from like, oh, you change from one day one outfit to another. That what oh yeah at least does for me, like changing the dynamic, changing my perceptions of things, changing the cells within my body so that I can be healed, changing the way that I look at things, the way that people look at me. um and that's really, really, I think that's what people, like people are like, what, when will I see things happening for my life? This is not magic. I tell people this is not magic. This is metaphysics. This is medicine. This is discipline. This is a spiritual practice that takes discipline and work, and the work is in you. And they're patient. So I just wanted to share that. So thank you.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Yes. Yes. Montupue to your wisdom and knowledge that you bring to the table. Um, your family has always been a cornerstone of lifting me in my life, if I should say that. Before I ever even knew you, I knew your dad from the Chicaba work he did in Ohio, um, at the Dayton Black Cultural Festival. So that was amazing. Also, of course, with your other mother, your other mom, Maribas Wiles. I remember by this time I had my electric, but I still didn't know. I still lived in Ohio. I come to the conferences in X, Y, and Z. And I'm telling you this story because my pretty phone Yemoya in my life, um, my goodness. We know Ibaye, uh, Omidina, a priest of Yemonja, and wow. So I went into the house. I had came up for the conference. You know, I'm single. I ain't married no more. You know, I'm doing my thing. I'm out there. I'm dancing, and always around the Africans and whatnot. And to put it like this, the American brothers wouldn't even talk to me because they thought I was like right out of Africa or something. I don't know. It was like, in any case, but the story is about how Yemaya has always been there to ensure that I wasn't harmed and that they understood steps I made and gave me warnings if I was going too far. He had impeccable ashe with Yemaya. I could cry right now because I had went into the house. All the Africans were around. I didn't even care anyway. And I wanted to salute Yemaya. I said, I want to salute Yemaya. He was like, okay, come on. And I saluted Yemaya. And when he raised me, there's no way in the freaking world that he knew that he didn't know what was going on in my life. I didn't talk to him yesterday. I didn't see him for 6 years or maybe, I don't know. He looked at me and he said what he said. I ain't gonna tell you what he said. I'll tell you what he said in person. But it was true. And he was like, okay, don't do that no more. Just, chill. I'm like, okay. I couldn't even lie. So you understand what I'm saying? I mean, lying wasn't even in my perspective. It wasn't even in my mind. But the thing about it is that he knew. At that point, um, if I didn't know that the road to spirituality or the road to Orisha or let's just say the Ashe, of the universe works through the vessels of their children.